welcome back to another video. I have Johanna Basford's Rooms of Wonder. I have been working on a page in here. You probably just saw my video where I colored the vanity on a page in this book that I've been working on. So today I pulled out my book and I wanted to color the mirror, and I thought it would be fun to go ahead and do a little bit of a tutorial. Now I have colored lots of glass bottles and things like that, but I've never colored a mirror. So I thought that we could do this together and see how it turns out. If you check the description box down below, you'll find links down there to my Facebook group, my email list, my Etsy shop, and my Patreon if you'd like to support me there. I also now have channel membership. You could find more information out about that by clicking the join button down below the video. So if you saw my last video, you know this is the page that I have been working on. I just finished this vanity and I was able to bring in lots of fun other mediums and to make it look more like one of those old-timey antique classic vanities. I had pulled a picture up on Google and I got some ideas from that picture, was able to match up my colors, and I love the way that it turned out. I also was able to use the Ohuhu glitter markers and I absolutely love those. It's super reflective over here around the drawers. And I was able to make the drawers stand out from the other parts of the vanity. Now I just need to come back in here and color the knobs on the vanity, but I haven't yet decided on a color for those. But today we're going to go ahead and color the mirror. I have some colors here and I'm not sure if I'm going to use all of them. I have 30% warm gray, which is PC 1052. Then I have 20% cool gray, which is PC 1060, and 10% cool gray, PC 1059. So I think I'm going to start with the 20% cool gray. I'm going to color in the outer parts of the mirror in each section. And in each section of this mirror, I would imagine the reflection coming in from different places, since this part of the mirror is flat, and then each one of these sections here are sort of turned out. So I'm just going to try to determine where I want the lightest areas to be. So I'm starting slowly and I'm using the 20% since it's in the middle of the lightest color and the darkest color. And this way, if I decide I want to go over it with a darker color, I can do that. And it still acts as a first layer. I think in this side of the mirror over here, that is facing inward, I'm going to keep my lighter area or the more reflective area right here in the center. And then over here on this one, I think I'm going to keep it more towards this area here. So I'm going to pull this 20% cool gray closer into that area. And I'm going to try to go around all of these little envelopes and everything that are tucked in to the sides. And then we're going to start over here on this mirror. And this mirror has a little scarf laying over the top of it. So I'm thinking that this one I'm going to keep a little bit darker and maybe leave a little bit of a reflective area right down here on the bottom part of the mirror. I am definitely thinking that we are going to have to come in with a darker color so that we can make a second layer up in this area here and then over in here. And then we're definitely going to need to create a lot of depth and dimension all on the outer edges of the mirror. And then probably in the spaces where we have these little envelopes and such, and it looks like little love letters that are stuck into the sides of the mirror. I'm going to go ahead and grab my 30% warm gray, and I didn't want to stick with the cool gray because the 30% cool gray was quite a bit darker, and I'm just going to create a second layer with this color. And I am using lighter pressure at this point, and you can see I'm holding my pencil to the side and I'm just blending this color into the other color. Up here in the corner I want there to be a little bit more depth and dimension, so I'm just going to blend some of this right into the upper corner, and I'm going to pull it down just a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit more depth and dimension down here as well. And then over here right around this little flower pot, I want it to look like the flower pot is actually laying in front of the mirror. And because the flower pot is laying in front of the mirror, I am going to have a little bit of a darker area here, or more of a shadow naturally. And then I'm going to add some color here where the beads are hanging. And then right in this area here, I'm going to try not to get into the beads, but I'm going to continue to hold my pencil at the side, going very, very lightly. Now this color is fairly dark, so if I keep holding my pencil at the side, it's going to help me to not lay down too much of that color. Now up in here, I think I might come in with something a little bit darker. I don't know yet. Let me see if I can use this 30% warm gray to come right up in here to create a little bit of depth and dimension, but I'm trying to keep it a little bit lighter right in here, and I may come back with a Posca or something to go ahead and really show that reflection right in there. And then right here where the beads are laying over the top, I'm going to add a little bit more color down in there, and I'm just going to come right down here into this corner, and I think that one looks really good. Now we're going to come over here and continue to work on this mirror, and I want a little bit more color up in here, and I'm going to go in a circular motion and pull it down just a little. And then over here where we have these 3 little dots, I always like to use the artwork and follow it as a guide, and so I'm going to add a little bit of my darker color right in there and just create a little bit more depth and dimension on my mirror. Now I'm going to come down in here, and I want to create a lot more of that depth and dimension again right in this area. Now I did go and sharpen my pencil because when you're doing this, you want to hold your pencil at the side and you want to be able to create all that extra depth and dimension and make it look like it is lifted. But to do that, you need a really sharp tip on your pencil. And I'm going to do the same thing where there is a little envelope or whatever it may be. In all of those areas where I have something laying over the top, I'm going to come around all of those things very lightly and make them all look as though they're laying to the front. And I am going to come back later and blend this color out just a little bit with a lighter color. Over here I'm just pulling the color out just a little bit by going in a circular motion. And then over here, I just want to add a little bit of depth and make it look like these 2 little love letters are sitting to the front of the actual mirror. Now we're going to come over here and we're going to do the same thing. And I'm going to hold my pencil at the side here, and I'm going to go all the way along this edge. And because we have this scarf laying over the top, I would imagine it's going to be a little bit darker in here. And when I was coloring the vanity, I did make a mistake and come right in here with my Ohuhu marker. So I'm just trying to correct some of that now and make it disappear as much as I can. So I turned my pencil just a little bit because it was getting a little too flat. Now I have my 10% cool gray, and I'm going to blend out some of these colors and pull them in towards the center. And it's also going to create a blend of those colors and spread them out. So it is going to lighten up that darker gray just a little bit, but that's what I want to do. And I just want it to spread the color out so that I don't see any harsh lines. So I'm using a little bit harder pressure here to really blend that color out and create that extra depth I want in there. And I wasn't sure how this was going to turn out when I started, but I think it's looking really good. I'm going to come in here where I added that darker color and just pull it out just a little bit, and then I'm going to blend all of these colors in here as well and pull them down. And then on this mirror we need to do the same thing. I think I really love how this turned out, but I think I can make it better. So let me see how much more I can do with my darkest color. I don't know, I might grab another color. I don't know yet. So I just sharpened my pencil and I made the tip really nice and sharp again. And I'm going to see how much depth and dimension I can actually create here. And again, right here, I'm just going over those little dots that Johanna put on the mirror, and I'm using those as a guide. And then I'm going to come down here where the beads are and make those look a little bit like they are laying to the front of the mirror. Since it's a mirror, I don't think I want to go any darker. I think that I'm just going to go ahead and add the layers with this 30% warm gray because I don't want my mirror to be too dark, but I do want to make it look like all of these little miniature objects are laying in front of the mirror. And I think we need to add quite a bit more depth and dimension up here in this area. And then there's a couple little dots right here, so I'm just going to go over those. And then I'm going to come back over these dots here again. And I want to get right in here as well. And then down here. So I'm just doing all of the edges. I'm going up and down, and then I'm going in a circular motion to pull that color out. And I want to make it a little bit darker up in here. because again, we have that scarf hanging over the mirror and then along the edge here. Now I have the 20% cool gray, and I'm going to blend some of these colors out once again. And I'm going to continue to hold my pencil at the side so that I don't use too much pressure, but I just want to blend out all of the areas that I just colored so that it doesn't look like I have any harsh lines anywhere, and all it's doing is creating the extra added depth and dimension. And I think so far it looks really good, but I am going to use my white. Now I think I did use a whole lot of the white of the paper, and in the places where I have the white, I'm going to use my white and I'm going to go over these areas. So I'm just going to take my white pencil and I'm going to go over all of these places where I wanted it to be more white or have more of a reflective area. For this mirror here, that would be facing towards the person sitting in the vanity. I would imagine more of that reflection would be right in this area here. And then on this one, I wanted to keep a lot of the lighter color in this area and then a little bit down here. And then on this one, I wanted to keep it right over here. But you could also use the white to go over the whole entire thing. And I would only do this at the end when you're ready to burnish all the colors together. So I think it looks really good, but I'm going to see if I could create any more depth at all. Now this is the US version of the book, and the color is still laying down. I know it was such a big deal in the beginning and everybody was really worried about the paper in this book, but I absolutely love the paper in this book. I'm able to get color down on the page and layers and more layers. Okay, so I have my white jelly roll and we're going to see how well this works. I just want to add a little bit of reflection. I think it's making a little bit of a difference. I decided to go ahead and grab my Posca because I think this is going to do more of what I want it to do. And then over here where I wanted this little bit of reflection and a little bit of depth right here where Johanna had drawn in those little dots, I just want to make sure this looks like a more reflective area. And I'm putting it right up against where I had laid that darker color to create depth. And then I think over here I want it to look a little bit more white, and then over in this area here. Oh, I kind of like that little added touch. I decided to put some little dots here and I think that looks kind of cool. If you bring in your Posca, you can always lay the color down, and then if you don't like what you did, you can always come back and lift it up. But I think all the little dots that I'm adding are making for a nice little reflection, especially over where I added more gray. Vanity is now done. I just need to color in all the little trinkets and things and the little vase and the letters and all of that stuff that is on the top of the vanity, and then figure out a color for these knobs here. I want to do something creative with the knobs. I've just not figured out what I want to do yet. I just really wanted to be able to film this as I did it. Since I was going to color it anyway, maybe it'll be helpful for someone. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Everything that you've seen me use will be in the description box below. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Happy coloring. Bye.